Hi there and welcome to my Monday Live. My name is Paula Reed and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator going by the name of Yellow Bear Stamping. Tonight I've got another case card for you, and this time we are using the Fern and Flora. So let's switch down. So this is the Fern and Flora bundle, or suite rather, is one of my favourites from the May to August catalogue, and I thought that tonight I would do this card here, and that will case that. It uses the dies and the stamp set from the bundle. It also, in the bundle, rather in the suite, we have, if I can find page, here we go. So we've got this beautiful designer series paper which I've used, and then it's got the Fern and Flora embossing folder, and then we've got these dewdrop embellishments along with the stamp and dies. So we're just going to use some of that suite tonight to recreate this. So let's get started. I have already die cut the fern, and what I have done is I have put the adhesive sheet on the back. Now I find that when you've got these intricate dies, it's just a lot easier to put the adhesive sheet on, and you don't have to worry about trying to put adhesive and you end up getting it all over yourself. So I would highly recommend the adhesive sheets in your stash of products to use. I have stamped and I've die cut the label for the sentiment, and I've actually done it with a happy birthday using the lovely arrangements sentiment. Now on this one here, they have just done it as a plain strip of cardstock, but I've decided to use this outline here and then die cut it with the coordinating die from the set. Then I have stamped this image here and die cut it, and I've actually stamped it with Secret C rather than one of the black inks, just so it's not quite so strong. And I've partially coloured in so that you don't need to watch me colour in the whole of it. And I'm using the Watercolour Pencils. So I'm changing the colour combination a little bit. I have got here a piece of basic white that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that is going to be for this bit here that we're going to stamp on first. So colour that I haven't used a huge amount is crushed curry. Now they've probably used in the sample potentially golden glow, but I thought not everybody has got the in colours or likes the in colours, so I've just gone with crushed curry, which has been around for a while, and you could change that to whatever colour you want. And I'm going to just stamp it over to the side here. I've found this stamp here has been really good just as for backgrounds. I've used it quite a bit on projects, either in the horizontal or the vertical orientation. Then we are going to stamp the big fern in Old Olive. Old Olive. I think it was Old Olive and Night of Navy and Real Red were, I think, some of the first inks I bought, ink pads, when I started stamping well over 15 years ago, because I'm coming up as a demonstrator for 15 years in September. Right, so I'm just going to pop that over there. Just give that a good press down there like that. Okay, so that's pretty much our stamping. Then we're going to finish colouring in our flower. Now I have chosen Calypso Coral for the flower, crushed curry for the centre of the flower, and for the leaves a mixture of Old Olive and Garden Green. So I can take that away, and then I'm just going to colour in the petal. Sorry if this is shaking a bit. So I'm just going around, just doing that fairly light, light pressure on the cardstock. And then this bit over here, I want that a bit darker, and I'm actually going to do that one there a bit darker again. So when you want the one colour, that pencil that you've got, and you want it a bit darker, you just need to press down a bit more, and you can see that I've got that as a different intensity of colour, even though it's the same. And then we're just going to put a bit of, that was the Old Olive, and then just sort of go over the top with that. So then now I've got my blender pen, and I'm just going to lightly go over the top, and it just blends in where I had coloured it, and so that sort of sometimes you get lines on it. And I need a scrap of paper, cardstock, whatever, and you just go over the top, and then it cleans it. And then we'll just colour in, blend in these two greens that I did. So it allows you to get some different colour leaves that they don't, and I've got this one here's got another little bit of colour in it as well, so that you don't have you know, you can mix your colours. And so then just run that off, and you get rid of, it's probably a bit hard to see on here because it's quite light, but you get rid of the colour, ready for the next time. Okay, so then we are ready to attach. Now I have gone with the Medley paper again. I've been using that a bit, and we're just going to attach that, and I've gone with a basic beige card base, and then we will attach all of these components. And I've just realized I need some scissors. So on this, the die that you have isn't big enough to go from there up to there. So an easy way to sort that is just by snipping. Yeah, we'll just snip it there, and then you've got two portions so that you can make your fern seem bigger. So then I'm just going to take off the backing from the Old Olive. Now I used the two-tone cardstock just so that it's a bit thinner. Doesn't have, you don't get as much thickness. So we're just going to pop that about there, and then peel that bit off, and I just want that to probably go about there. And then we want some adhesive on this. So I like the watercolour pencils that you get about 12 or 13 colours in a pack, and there's 2 different assortments. And so that's a really great way to give you lots of variety of colour without having to buy all the ink pads if that's not your thing. And you get, yeah, it's another way of colouring in your images rather than using, especially for your outline images. And then that's just going to sit there like that. So I'll just quickly take, I'd already put dimensionals on my stamped and die cut sentiment, and we are just going to pop that so that it covers where the join is, and then we can just, so I was debating using that side of the paper, but actually I think I will use that one rather than the green. So put some adhesive on, and it also goes really nicely against the using the basic beige rather than always having a white card base. Yeah, go on and pop that. There we go. And then pop that, and we're going to pop it, rather than it being centered, going to pop it over a bit that way just for something a bit different. They have in the sample done it so that the sentiment goes over, but I've done it sort of more so it's on here. Okay, so then I am going to use some of the Sunset Sparkle sequins, and I'm enjoying using these because they've got a good colour mix, and that they've already got the adhesive on the back. So I might go with this colour here, I think, and we'll go with the bigger ones, and yeah, so there is our card, and there is the one that we've cased. So the other thing with watercolor pencils is that you get such a good selection of colors in them. I've got one here. So you've got Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun, Crushed Curry, Gran Apple Green, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Gorgeous Grape. And then there's another one that has a different mix in it. So there's 2 different assortments. So there is our card. And on the weekend, I'll just take these out of their little plastic bags. On the weekend, I held a class with a lovely group of ladies, and we made this card, but did it in the note card size. So there are the samples that we made. So this one is using the Balmy Blue And then this one, I think I used Melon Mambo, maybe? Can't remember. No, Berry Burst, I think it was actually. And then here we've got the Calypso. So you can see these would make great gifts, and you could make up the packaging that we did, that I shared last week, and give this to a friend with your different sentiments in there, and that's a lovely little gift to give. So there you go, and I'll just see if I can find the oh, here we go, this is what we want. So here are the watercolor pencils that are on page 77, and so for there's 13 pencils in this one and 10 in this one. So and then you would need a blender pen, and this comes in a set of 3. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and just seen how changing the colours from a sample of seeing it and then thinking, okay, yep, I can actually also do it as a note card. So I will try and get these up on my Facebook page later this week, and we hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thanks for joining. Bye.